I made this video for people who might have a dryer similar to mine. This is a GE gas dryer, and it's model number DDG7980BALAD, and I was not able to find a video to show people how to disassemble this dryer to do whatever kind of maintenance or repairs are necessary, and it is a little bit different than some of the ones that are posted out there. So I thought I would show what it takes to get this thing apart and replace an igniter or whatever else, a sensor perhaps, or just to clean it. These things get super dirty. This one was very dirty. I used a wet or dry vacuum to clean it, and then whatever was left over, I used an air hose out in the open to get the remaining dust out of there. But it was a pretty filthy unit, and I actually did replace the igniter, but I'm going to show what steps are taken to get this dryer apart. So let's get started. So the first thing that I did, once I got the dryer outside or in a place where you can actually work on it, was take off the back cover so I can get to the pulleys and eventually get the drum off. And you do that by removing these screws around the perimeter. Fairly easy to do. This one here is a little bit tricky, but still you can get it without too much trouble. Notice I put some tape over the gas inlet just to protect it, keep dirt out of it and keep it from getting dinged. And this back cover is a little tricky. You have to lift up. There's a counterweight back here, and you kind of have to slip it up and over. This does lift up, but that's not going to hurt anything. And coax it and pull, and there you go. This is what kind of causes the issue, is that silly thing right there. And getting it back on is kind of a tricky thing, just like that. I might put some gloves on. I don't have gloves on, but I might recommend that you do. You'll want to lift this up and kind of reverse the process that you did before. Get that just over the lip. Pull it this way, just enough. The idea is to get, there you go, is to get this lip underneath there. There you go. Now once you get that lip in there, you can kind of coax it back into position, like so, when you put it back in. And then tighten it. Of course, you got to put the screws back in. And this will probably be the last step when you put the dryer back together. The next thing I did was open this door. And when you open the door, you'll find that you can have access to 4 screws under this lip. And when you remove those 4 screws, this door, or this top lid, will just open and it will rock back, and there's some catches that will keep it from going all the way back and over, almost like the hood of your car. The next thing you can do after that, there's some screws that I'm pointing to underneath here. There's just 2 5/16, at least the head of the screw is 5/16 hex, and you can get in there with a tool similar to this, and all you have to do is just loosen those about 2 or 3 turns, because there's a clip that will allow this front panel to come off. You may want to also take this out if you want to, just because it'll give you a little bit more vision down in here to where that is. Okay, then I can shut this door and then come in behind. You'll find that there are 2 screws that come out, kind of see where I'm taking those out. Pretty obvious which ones to take out in order to get this front panel out. I've already loosened them up once, so that's why they come out so easy. There's some wiring here. I'm going to release this little clip, put that in my pocket, and then there's another clip here. Now, this whole panel will just lift off, like so. You pull up on it, you can swing it around. You have to go up and get these wires over, and then you can put something over here and lean it against the left side of the dryer, and now you can see we have access to this drum and some of this other stuff, but this drum has to come off. So we'll go around back and I'll show you how to take that, release the pulley, the idler pulley, so that that drum can come off. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is free up the belt, disconnect the belt that goes around the dryer drum from the drive pulley, which is at the end of the motor. And to do that, it's really easy. There's a spring-loaded idler pulley that has a lot of room to move. You can pull that away and take that belt, slip it up and over, and away you go. There's that belt is free. Now we can go back around the front and grab that belt and actually use it to make it easy to pull the drum out. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take the dryer drum out, and that's a pretty easy thing once you've released the belt from the pulley, which was the previous step. You can just put your hand here and here. And we're going to lift up and just take a little of the weight off and then ease it out. It just comes right straight out. There's a little bit of clearance, but you can work it out, and away it comes. And you can set it aside. Now you can see you have access to everything that has to do with getting the gas dryer to ignite, and you can see where the drive motor is. And next step we'll do is I'll show you how to take out the apparatus to get to the igniter and whatever other sensors you need to replace if that happens to be what your problem is. After you do remove the drum, pay attention to this spindle, and there are some washers that can fall off, as you see here. This flat one goes on first, and this other one that's got a slight curve to it goes up against the opposite bearing that this goes into, but these can fall off very easily. Just pay attention to the fact that they're there and don't lose them, and be aware when you put the drum back in that they need to be there, and you'll be fine. Next, I'm going to show you how to remove the gas control assembly, which will give you access to the igniter. The igniter is underneath here, and you might be able to see it if you take a mirror and go underneath. And sometimes it's obvious that it's broken, but in my mind it's actually not that difficult to take the assembly off, and you can really see it better, and you can clean things a lot better too once that's out of there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to release the nut that couples the gas line from the gas control assembly, and I'm going to put the wrench underneath here, and I'm going to push this direction around toward the back of the unit, lifting up on the wrench. That should break it loose, and I'm not going to take it completely off yet. I'm just going to break it loose. And you go around back. There are two screws that come in from the back. You'll be able to see them when you go around back and look at where the gas inlet coupling is, and we'll take these 2 screws off, and that will allow this gas line to come off. And then when that's off, then this is very easy to remove. This assembly is very easy to remove. So I'm just going to do that real quick, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've removed those bracket screws for the gas line, and now that this has been broken loose, I should be able to go in here and very easily turn that nut the same direction I turned it when I released it, broke it loose. And hang on just a minute. There it is. You can see now that that is broken loose, and I can move this back out of the way. It doesn't have to come all the way out, but you can pull it out. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do, get my wrench. Release these 2 screws in the front. I don't know if you can see those. Let me see here. I think so. Okay, I've got those 2 screws off. There's a couple of wires up here that need to be released, and a black one underneath down below. Release that. And now there's also a little clip here. You clip these wires, and if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to slip this thing out. I'm going to move it slightly forward because there's a clip right here. There's no screws, it's just a clip. Then you can bring it up, and now you just coax it. Make sure the wires don't get too hung up. Take it slow and easy, and that thing will come right out. And I don't know if you can see it now. The focus is good enough. There's the igniter, and that's the most common, they tell me, anyway, the most common thing that goes wrong with these dryers. And if you just push up with your thumb and hold that, you can just pull that igniter straight out. And the same thing when you go to put it back in. It's pretty self-explanatory, or pretty obvious how it works when you get that off. So I'm just going to slip that thing back on again. Just reverse that. Again, just be real careful. Don't make too many sudden moves. Put your arm under here to support it. And I'm going to slip that thing back in. Watching my wires. Just being careful. There you go. It's back in where it belongs. I'm just going to put the 2 screws back in. And basically, when you put it back together after you've cleaned everything, just reverse the process, and you should have a fixed dryer. One other thing I'm going to make a real quick note about are these 2 glides. I replaced those on mine. They rest on the bottom of the dryer drum, and they're just anti-friction, just to make supports the dryer drum and makes it easier for it to turn. That's it.